Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new, and welcome to a chilled Saturday afternoon reading vlog where I am going to chill on the sofa, get some reading done. Duke will probably join me when he's finished burying a biscuit the other side of the room, and we're going to make a dent, if not finish, a couple of books. I've currently got about 6 books on the go, but I don't know about you, and please let me know below, but I read different books for different times. So I have my Kindle that I'm currently reading Finley Donovan is Killing It, and I take my Kindle out on shifts with me, and I also sit and read a chapter or two in bed every night. So that's sort of one book that I read at specific times. I've also got on the go the fine print, but I'm listening to that via audiobook, so that's sort of my go for a walk or go to the gym book. So unless I'm doing one of those things, I don't tend to listen to that unless maybe I'm in the bath or I'm cooking dinner and I just want something on the background. I am making my way through the Priory of the Orange Tree. I'm a couple of 100 pages in still. I am really enjoying it. I really am, but I'm just reading it so slowly because there's just so much in there. And I just don't want to rush it, and I'll make sure I'm understanding the world as much as possible. But I genuinely am really enjoying this book. It's really fantastic. But if it takes me 2-3 months to read it, but I fully digest it, then I'm absolutely fine with that. And then I have got a self-help book on the go, which is The Year of No Nonsense. I'm not very far into that. And this one I kind of just tend to read maybe a dozen pages while I'm eating breakfast in the morning. So there's sort of 4 books that I've got on the go, but I'm not necessarily rushing to finish. They'll just, as soon as I finish the fine print, and I'll just go to the next audiobook I've got saved in the playlist. It's just chilled. But 2 books that I would like to try and finish this weekend, ideally, are The Haunting Season, which is a collection of ghost stories, and I've only got 2 left. So I'm actually going to start with this afternoon and see if I can finish it today. And then a book that's been on my NetGalley TBR, and I've been reading this now for quite a few weeks, is The Secret of Splint Hall. Now this is a middle grade, and it's finally getting good. Yeah, that close. We're about 50% of the way through now, I think. Just over, but it's taken to about page 150 for the story to really start, and I nearly DNF this. And if you follow my channel, you know I don't DNF books, but I was really close, and probably about another 20-30 pages and I would have done. And then things finally started to happen. There's so much story build. Basically, we've got 2 girls. We've got Isabel and Flora, who their house gets bombed in the war. They go out to the country to live with their aunt and her very grumpy husband, who clearly doesn't like children. And the first 150 pages are him basically moaning about them being there, them not being allowed to do very much, them moaning about it, the community treating them a bit differently because they don't like him. And that's what it was for 150 pages. And I'm like, I can't read much more of this. I can't read another 150 pages of this. And then something finally happened, and I'm like, oh, that's what this whole book's about. That's the secret of Splint Hall. Great. Maybe next time give us like 50 pages introduction rather than 150 pages introduction. But I'm pleased that I persevered so far. So I would like to read a bit more, if not finish this today as well. So that's my aims. I'm going to get cracking, and I'll catch up with you a bit later. Have you finally finished burying your biscuit, Duke? Hey? Hello, darling.
What is the measure of the true hero?
I don't think your Pinto likes me.
Pegasus? Oh, don't be silly. He'd be more than happy to. Ow.
So I've just finished The Haunting Season. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5, which I'll round up to 3 on Goodreads. I didn't not enjoy it, but there were a couple of stories that I thought were really good, but the majority I was just a bit meh. So yeah, just wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't bad. So we'll go middle of the road. So I'm about to pick up The Secret of Splint Hall and hopefully get a little bit of that read this afternoon. Hello, you.
Okay, say it with me. Let's say it together.
I've got 40 pages left, and the indication was that this book was building up. When we eventually got to the halfway point, the implication then that we were building up to this big sort of event. We have 40 pages yet, and there's no hint of it starting. So are we going to be left with a cliffhanger, or is it going to be a rushed ending? I don't know which I prefer at this point either. 2.5 out of 5. Again, that's not too bad. It's still middle of the road. The action scene was all of 6 pages. So we had 150 page build, then maybe 50 odd pages of hinting of what's going to happen, 6 pages of it happening, and then just a little bit of a description about what happened next. And I admit I'm just a bit disappointed. When I read about this on NetGalley, I was like, I'm going to love this book. And if the author had just focused on the second half and the action scene, this I'm fairly sure would have been a 5 out of 5. So still, I am pleased that I read it, but I had just higher hopes. But I don't know what to read now because I don't want to read another 2.5 out of 5. So I'll have a think and I'll get back to you. So I've decided on a book, and if you saw my haul before last, you would have seen how excited I was when I found this for 20p in the charity shop. And since I did that video and I put the books away, I completely forgot that I hauled this. And I've just uncovered it and I'm like, I have to read this afternoon. This is going to be a little bit of fun while I'm cooking dinner before I put on a film and probably just fall asleep in front of the TV tonight. But it is Lady Cottington's pressed fairy book. I'm so excited to read this. It's going to be such an easy read, I think. But it is a book of pressed fairies. And it just, I think, is going to be a bit of fun, a bit of a good time. So I'm going to get into this and I will catch up with you a little bit later. That is absolutely brilliant. This is going to be so good. It says, Angelica Cottington discovered that if she sat still with the book upon her lap, fairies, being inquisitive creatures, would come fluttering around her. With a sure eye, a quick lunge, and a firm snapping together of the book, she could catch the fairies between the pages and thus preserve their appearance for posterity. You know when you read something and afterwards you're like, did I seriously just read that? Well, that was my experience of Lady Cottington's pressed fairy book. What I had anticipated as a short 5-star hilarious read ended up in fairies being responsible for non-consensual sexual acts. Yes, you heard me correctly. It started off great. I was enjoying the pictures. There were really fun diary entries beside it about how she pressed these fairies and that they were naughty, and it was entertaining. And then it got dark and horrible all of a sudden, like in a turn of a page. And I'm like, what happened? Where did this come from? It is not necessary. I care not for it. So I'm really thrown now, to be honest. I don't really know what to rate it because the first bit I really enjoyed. The artwork is absolutely awesome. But then it just got dark and horrible. So, I don't know. But what I thought was going to be a great time and a really great reading end to the afternoon has just made me feel really uncomfortable. So it hasn't actually been the best reading afternoon with 2.5 stars and a really uncomfortable fairy book. So it's been strange. That being said, I'm snuggled on the sofa, I've got Duke on my lap. So on that basis, if you made it to the end of the video, leave me a dog emoji or any animal emoji of your choice, and I'm going to try and find something to do to erase that fairy drama that's replaying in my head right now, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye.